Hey everybody, this is Kyle Robinson coming to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I just want to do a video that I am going to do my best to do just very briefly, but the intention of this video is to begin some discussion. And hopefully it'll get this idea discussed in the right places. So as you can tell by the title and the description of the video, I have an idea for how the NFL can deal with unsportsmanlike conduct in the NFL, especially when players are playing against each other maliciously and playing against each other in a way that could cause, cause other players to have their career ended prematurely or altogether in their life. Real quick, my name is Kyle Robinson. I'm coming to you live from not live, but I'm coming to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And let me go into a little background of, the reason behind my idea. So this idea came to me, and I don't know if anybody else has ever proposed it. So if anybody else has ever proposed it, I don't want to take credit for being the first person to propose such an idea if I'm not. But it came to me as an idea. I've never heard anybody talk about it, and that's the truth. So, I have seen a few years ago the movie called Concussion with Will Smith in it, who is one of my favorite actors. He did an excellent job in that movie. And it detailed and highlighted the issue that football players were having after they retired with a now known condition called CTE. And I thought it was a good movie, and from what I understand, since that movie has come out, the NFL has done more to try to protect players against long-term brain damage and things like that. If that's something they're just now doing, that should have been something they've been thought about, in my opinion. But my thing is, listen, I enjoy a good football game. I'm a Steelers fan through and through. I'm more of a Steelers fan than I am a football fan, but the truth of the matter is I don't care what team you play for. I don't want to see football players get hurt and lose quality of life. I want to see players, succeed on the field. I want to see them do well. And also, too, I want to see players play safe and play fairly. Nothing grinds my gears more than anything is to see players play dirty and get away with it. So just a little bit of background behind what happened with how I came up with this idea. A few weeks ago, we played the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers did. Okay. They played the Baltimore Ravens. And for those of you who watched that game, you remember that Mason Rudolph he got sandwiched by two players. Now, I can't remember their names or numbers, but what I do remember is one guy came from the back, hit him from the back. Another guy came and hit him from the front, but his helmet connected with Mason's, and that caused Mason, I believe, that the helmet connecting with his to get knocked out. Now, in that given situation, to me, I couldn't tell whether or not he hit him with the helmet on purpose in that particular situation. Our other quarterback comes in. He starts doing well. They scored a touchdown. Connor goes in for the touchdown. We're on the 1 yard line, and he goes in for the touchdown. Now, if I remember correctly, Connor, I believe, may have dove in for the touchdown. I remember him dropping his head low. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think he dove in for that touchdown. But the one thing I remember that caught my attention that really grinded my gears was that number 44, whoever that is on the Baltimore Ravens, when he went in to try to, because he was getting tackled already as he was going in for the touchdown, if my memory serves me correctly. But what really grinded my gears is as he was going in and he was dropping his head to dive for the touchdown, number 44 of the Ravens looked like he tried to drop his head and connect his helmet with Connor's. And to me, it looks like it was done on purpose and that it was done maliciously. Now, this number 44 guy, I think, when I've talked to other people about this, they said that particular guy has a history for playing dirty. I think his name is Burfict or whatever, Burfict or whatever his name is. And here's the thing. I think the NFL needs to deal with it, and I'm not just saying it because it happened to my team. Even if somebody on the Steelers was playing maliciously and playing against guys in a way that would cause them to be unsafe on the field or possibly hitting people in a way that can end their careers, I think the Steelers should suffer from this idea too. So this is where my idea came about, and I said, here's the thing. Players can get suspended for a few games or even for the rest of the season, but the thing is, they're going to play again. Okay? So I personally don't think that, continuing to suspend players will do much of anything. Because they can eventually be talked in and coaxed into, hey, you'll play again. I don't think just giving them penalties during games will do much of anything. When you take 10 yards or 20 yards or 30 yards or 50, I've never heard of 50 yards being taken, but 10 or 20 yards being taken, or 5 yards being taken here and there for malicious playing. The thing is that all the yardage that was taken from a player or from a team can be gained back with one good play and then some. So I'm not necessarily sure that penalties will help. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't be done, because these penalties should continue to be done. Players should still get suspended. And yes, penalties in the game should still be given. I don't think fining players will change this behavior, because at the end of the day, guess what? These players make a lot of money. Now, granted, and these team owners make a lot of money. The coaches make decent money. So I don't think fining coaches or players or owners, team owners, or fining a franchise will change the behavior. I think it could give them a gut punch to the stomach and make them talk to their players, but I don't think that will really change the game for real. I think what the NFL needs to consider doing is they need to consider hitting teams where it hurts. And what should it cost a team or a player for playing dirty, for purposely and maliciously playing dirty? Okay? And I don't even just mean playing dirty. I mean even thinking twice about how you tackle someone and stuff like that. Even if stuff is done on accident, I think that this idea can make players think twice about being careful. Now, of course, I know that we can't regulate how hard somebody hits somebody else and stuff like that, but just make sure you're not hitting them in a way in which players would lose whole careers and stuff like that. So where can the NFL hit teams where it hurts? This idea will hit teams where it hurts. It will hit the owners where it hurts. It hit coaches where it hurts. This would be something that could possibly, this would be an idea that would cost teams, whole seasons and legacies, simply because players won't play fairly. Now, here's the thing. I think that this idea will cause players to hold other players accountable, their teammates accountable, for any type of maliciousness or dirty playing. I think it'll cause coaches to maybe take people out the game more often who can who can cause them games. I think it'll cause owners to think twice about keeping players, or even think twice about who they draft. And I think these things should be considered. So here is where the NFL can really, really hurt teams. And I think in the long run, if you think about it, I think it can make football games interesting. I think it can cause them to be more interesting and more challenging. But here is the measure that I think the NFL should take. I think that the NFL should consider hitting these owners and these teams and these players where it hurts on the scoreboard. On the scoreboard. It should hit players where it hurts. It hits coaches where it hurts. It hits owners where it hurts. Because, see, when you start costing the team games because you can't play the right way, now you become more of a liability than ever before. The city wouldn't want you there. Or if they do want you there, they'd want you to shape up. coaches won't want you there. The owners won't want you there. Teammates won't want you there. And what do I mean by hitting them on the scoreboard? What I mean is during games, like what happened this past Thursday during the Cleveland Brown and the Steelers game. When players are caught doing malicious things to other players, especially, I think that the NFL should consider taking off points. As many points as it takes to get it through players' heads. So even up to the amount of a touchdown plus a field goal. So like, for example, if you go to tackle someone and you accidentally hit somebody with your helmet or something like that, and you can look at the tape and tell it was an accident. You apologize, stuff like that. You can tell. You should get 2, maybe 3 points or even 4 points taken off your score. And here's the thing. I don't even care if your score is 0. You should go into the negative. So like, let's say you accidentally hit somebody in a way that caused them to be taken out for a couple of drives and it was an accident and the refs can tell it was an accident. If your score is 0 and they take off 3 points, you should be -3. So then when you score a touchdown, that's 6 points. Your score will be 3. And then when you kick a field goal, your score will be 4. You see what I'm saying? So I even think that even if your score is 0, the points should still be taken off until you go into the negative. And here's the thing. I think it'll make football games more interesting and more challenging now. Because now you got players who want to do what they can to develop a culture of playing fairly. It presents challenge because if players do something by accident and points are taken off, it makes the game more challenging. I mean, imagine being able to bounce back from a position of -10 all the way to positive, 50 and beating a team that you're playing. Okay, so imagine how that will do for football games. If it were me at the end of the Steelers and Browns game recently, the Browns should have lost the game. Simply because of that player, Myles Garrett, I believe his name is, hitting our quarterback over the head. Now, from what I understand, and I did have a chance to watch it, and from what I understand, I didn't watch the game, but I watched the situation, saw a video clip of it. To my understanding, based on the different sports commentators that I've watched talk about the situation, Mason Rudolph should definitely have some type of penalty. From the looks of it, I mean, he looks like he tried to snatch the guy's helmet off. It looks like that was a reaction to how he got hit. And so, listen, I'm not saying that Mason Garrett shouldn't have gotten some penalty. I don't know what the score was at the time of the game. But if it were me, and if this thing does go into effect simply for hitting him over the head with the helmet, you should lose a whole touchdown plus an extra point. In addition to being fined and suspended and possibly fired from the team. So, I think that that's something that the NFL should consider. To those of you who see this video, let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. I'm going to try to share this on Twitter. Hopefully I can get the NFL to watch this video. I would love for Stephen A. Smith, who is like one of my favorite commentators. He's the reason I want to get into more sports beyond the Steelers and beyond football. So shout out to you, Stephen A. Smith, if you're seeing this video. And by the way, congratulations on that new contract that you signed with ESPN. Congratulations to you, sir. Max Kellerman, I would love for you guys to discuss this. Shannon and Skip, I love watching those guys too. Would love for you all to talk about this stuff and see if this is something that could really change the game and get players to start thinking about how they play. But that's my idea. Let me know what you all think. Help this video go viral. And to any player who's watching this video, only reason I'm proposing this idea is because even if you're not a Pittsburgh Steeler, I don't want to see NFL players out here with a loss of a quality of life because they were playing against people who were malicious. So, listen, I pray God's blessing on you all, and I pray that you remain protected while you're out there on the field playing, especially our Steelers. But listen, I want you all to be safe too. And if you are a player and you know that you purposely play maliciously, I think you need to change your ways and change how you play, or otherwise, you are a liability to the team you play for. And if my idea goes into effect, you'll definitely be even more of a liability than you are now. So, anyway, you all take care. God bless, and hope to hear from you all soon.